A 19-year-old crashes his car, calls his parents for help, and vanishes. There's no body, no clues, just silence. This is the baffling case of Brandon Swanson. May 14th, 2008. Brandon was driving home from a college party. He was just a young man enjoying his first taste of freedom, going to parties, coming home late, and waking up early for class. His car ended up stuck in a ditch on the side of a country road. And when emergency services were called, they discovered his abandoned vehicle, but there was no sign of Brandon. According to what we know, Brandon wasn't hurt, but he was stuck and probably scared. So he did what any of us would do. He pulled out his cell phone and called his parents. At first, the conversation was calm. Brandon told them where he was and that he was okay, just stuck in a ditch. And then he began walking towards some lights in the distance, presumably thinking it was a house or maybe a gas station. And his parents stayed on the phone with him the entire time. For 47 minutes, they talked about everyday things while Brandon walked. Then suddenly he screamed. The line went dead. When his parents didn't hear Brandon's voice on the other end of the line, they assumed he must have reached the people he was walking towards. They hung up the phone and went about their evening. But by 6 a.m., when Brandon still hadn't returned home, they knew something was wrong. That morning, Brandon was reported missing. Didn't take long for the police to discover his car in the ditch. There was damage to the front right corner of the vehicle, consistent with a single vehicle accident. But where was Brandon? They could see tire tracks leading away from the damaged vehicle and disappearing into the darkness. They followed the tracks down a long driveway, but they ended at a dead end. And that's when they got a call from a local farmer who had found what he believed to be Brandon S. wallet on his property. The farmer turned over the ID, which confirmed it was Brandon's. But otherwise, it provided few answers. K-9 South were brought in to help locate Brandon. Their scent led them to a river not far from the crash site. But after following the scent for a while, it just stopped. There were no footprints in the area, and there was no way for the police to know if Brandon had slipped and fell into the water. There were two possibilities. Either Brandon fell into the river and the swift current carried him away, or somebody took him from the riverbank. But here's the thing. The river was cold and fast-moving. If Brandon fell in, he likely would have been swept several miles downstream. The police searched that area thoroughly, but they found no trace of Brandon. They didn't even find his clothes. Then there's the theory that he was taken. But why? Was there a killer lurking in the darkness who chose Brandon at random? Or did someone known to Brandon come for him? If that was the case, why haven't they come forward after all this time? It's important to note that Brandon called his parents from the riverbank, not the middle of the river. So it seems unlikely that he fell in accidentally. Instead, it's more probable that he was taken from the safety of his car by someone he knew. Someone who may have even been waiting in the darkness for him. But who would do such a thing and why? We may never know the answer to that question because despite the numerous theories, no one has come forward with any solid leads. Brandon's parents still hold out hope that he'll turn up somewhere somehow. Every time their phone rings with an unknown number, they pray that it's their son calling to say that he's alive. But sadly, that call remains silent. Do you think Brandon slipped and fell into the river? Or was he taken by someone he knew? Share your thoughts below. This case remains unsolved. Share this story so that someone out there knows the truth. Thanks for watching.